Hey guys, hey Adam, Stuart, Bill, good day. It's raining again here too. Trippy, hello. Peter Noddle, good day. Mark Shed Talk, hello. Mark Osborne, good day. Yes, we're in portrait mode. I've got no idea why. I did everything that seemed to work last time, and I'm still in portrait mode. Right? The device is locked to horizontal. It's had a horizontal selected before we started. The stream was scheduled on this device in horizontal mode. And for some strange reason, when I open it up, it says device locked. Orientation locked. Please rotate the device. So here we are in portrait. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I think I probably need to upgrade my equipment. We do have a battery that's charged and stuff. So that's very good. But portrait mode's a bit stupid. I'm a bit annoyed about it. But anyway. Mostly I'm just disorganised, but I did try everything to make this work this time. Zero luck. Sorry. Don't know what to do about that. It's a little bit silly. Quite a lot stupid, actually. No idea why. Now, what's happening, everyone? Yeah, honestly, who actually shoots in portrait mode enough to make it a default on some platform like YouTube? It's a pain. Probably the Chinese. You're going to blame the Chinese and the Indians and the Middle Easterners and anyone else. Yep. Computers were like Star Trek. Yeah, absolutely. And the pan shakers that do YouTube shorts. There's just something else we can blame. Blame everyone. Anyway, crazy big weekend. Sounds like Chirp's had a big weekend. I'm sure you've all had a big weekend. Hey, Fridge. It's all happening here, really. I've been messing with this. And some other stuff happened. I've been doing some other projects, stuff like that. It's all happening. Sunday, what happened Sunday? I can't remember what happened Sunday. I did something on Sunday. Probably not very much, but I did do something on Sunday. Probably some pattern making and stuff. There's some 3D prints here. Monday I sort of got in and I've got boards here everywhere. Oh, sorry about that. Core box and pattern sorted out for the whistle base. Chirpy, no, not entirely. let's take a step back here. Anyway, this is something we're working on. So that happened Monday. It's looking all right. I think it's pretty good. This room doesn't give us any sort of real decent lighting. In fact, that looks a bit orange. There's more blues and things now. Oh, there we go. That's better. Give you some idea. Anyway, work in progress. The other one's grey board, really. So that's something that happened. The other one's going to be something along those lines anyway. So it's a project. Yep, airship. Eventually. Tuesday we went up to the foundry at Beatree, which was kind of cool. It was sort of a successful day. Next project to work on is probably finish that board to the level of this one and then put some sign writing and stuff on it, board around it and some varnish. Been messing with this. Don't know if I've got anywhere with it really. No successful castings. See, because this is a difficult thing to cast because it's 65mm deep and that centerpiece breaks off pretty easy when you lift the sand out. I think it needs a core in it of some sort. This is parallel is the problem. And it's got this lip on the top, which means that if we look, if we cast this all in one piece, we've got to put a core in it, which is a fairly big core, and then it's got to harden up with CO2 and some stuff. So, hey Raymond, elaborate C. Wrong channel, I think. Elaborate C. No idea. Anyway. My thoughts are to do this in two pieces, right? This should be fairly straightforward to cast. It shouldn't be difficult at all, except that the sand was probably a bit dry and had too much weight on it. Hey, John, good day. So this should cast easy. Had too much, the sand was a bit dry and had too much weight on the top and it collapsed, which is a bit of a pity. Don't know why that happened, but half the top of it didn't cast. So we threw that one back. Didn't even get to this one. But what I'm going to do is put a lip on this on the inside. Machine a lip on it, set up a machine lip. And then machine a lip on the outside of this one. Fit them together. Probably TIG braze around them, something like that. And that's all one piece then. So that job's done. These four feet in here, a piece that looks something like this will also be TIG brazed on there, probably some machining and then brazed on before that one, so we can TIG it on, just tack it on. A couple of spots, probably run a few welds around it, see what happens, or silver solder it, whatever. And then that on there. Then we can set it up and machine this top face here for for the reed plate. Goes on top here, and a threaded hole for a rod to go through to bolt the, basically bolt the, hold it up there so it looks like it's supposed to bolt the bell on. It goes there. So was that by choice, Dan? No, I didn't think it was. Anyway, that's awesome. Right on. Very good. The sort of power's dangerous. It will go to your head. But embrace it while you can. So this has a fitting on the bottom that's also probably going to be TIG brazed or silver soldered or something. So that goes. This is a 60% size. So it's 4/16 size. Yeah, it's warranted. Keep an eye on that, Dan. I appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Doing well. So that's how that goes together. So this isn't really as such a project, right? As a concept. It's an idea or a concept that we're taking to the finished concept sort of place, not to the actual manufacture stage, just so everyone knows. This one here is a bit of a challenge. We did cast one, which is very ugly and also really heavy, and there's a bit of weight in that. It's a kilo or more, and it's not real good because we had some wash out or some sand crumble. See there? You won't see it, no. I don't know if we're going to use this because I've been messing with. This was the concept, right? Look at this. This is how I sort of did it. So basically, mould that, then lift the top out and lift the legs out. Was moderately successful, and Dallas being a pretty good moulder, like a pretty good moulder, he actually ended up with this. This is the results he ended up with. It's terrible, really. However, I've had another go at it. Don't know where I put that. What did I do with it? There it is. Right, still not perfect, but we're getting there. Right. This has got some improvements. It's not ideal though, because these grooves run down parallel with this taper, and that's all very well, except that this won't lift out without pulling the legs in as you lift it out. So it's going to have some issues. It's going to bind. So these really need to be, these grooves or these slots need to be parallel with the or perpendicular to the top of the sand, so that when you pull this out, it slides out evenly. And then these that have got a bit of taper on them and stuff all around, these should pull out easily. So there's Mark 3s coming. What I have done is, you don't know if you can see that black spot in the middle there, but I did put a 5mm nut in these, sunk in here, so that the magnet can pick this up without having, and in these as well, in case we had to, in these ones. So 5mm nut in there too, just in case we had to put them out with a magnet. So I think the first one is a better idea. It works better. It actually did work, but there are some problems with it. And it wasn't an easy thing to pull out the sand at all, even a little bit. So a combination of the two made into something might be really good. Anyway, working on that. So that's the chime whistle state of play. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm really keen on magnets. Maybe we could just put a nut in there and screw a bolt into it, or something like that. I don't know. Chirpy, that's a valid point too. We might think about that. I'd be just as keen just to leave a threaded hole in it and screw a bolt in it. Anyway, this one's probably the only one that's got to come out, because this new design has enough sticking out to actually get hold of it. So that's probably not a problem at all. Anyway, foundry work. I did these two, and these were reasonably successful. This one sort of had a bit of a file up, but not very much yet. You can sort of see the outline there, and I think it'll file up nice. There's a gate on the bottom there, but it's the basic shape's pretty reasonable. Pretty happy with that. There's the pattern for that one. But these are done like odd side, so there's no split pattern. So you're going to have a little bit of sand fall out, or a little bit of tear out with them. But that one cast up all right. That's probably a good idea, Chirp. This one here is the conrod for the little hit and miss engine. This one cast up okay too, pretty good. It's a bit of sand, and I think there might be a little bit of washout in this corner, so much to file that up and silver solders up on it before we start machining and filing it up. Won't matter much. But this end's really good. I think it'll clean up pretty good. A bit of careful work with the file. The grooves, the flutes are really nice, which is what I was most sort of worried about. And this boss on each side. Should be in there. And it goes in there. Sort of. So there's that one. This one is alright. I'm not sure if this is really the answer. I think it'll clean up alright with a bit of filing up. You sort of see the basic shape. The two levers are probably pretty good, and then they've got to be machined in the middle here. Whether we can do that without it bending, I don't know. Get it all cleaned up. But that's what we started with there. That's the governing yoke for the flywheel. So it's got a hole board in the middle, and it's got a slot down each side, so it's got two levers each side, or two brackets each side, and then there's two holes in the middle there to hold it on the flywheel. So there you go. And that's where we're at. I'm gearing up to do some more steam engine bits, because these are a bit of a... This is the simpling valve pattern, which I did. It's got some issues, because the one we had because of this. I think we poured it off the back here, and because of this dog leg here where it comes down here and out here to run out, you get chill here, and this ended up with a fairly serious chill tear in here. So I'm going to build this up and put a nice big fillet in here, which can be machined off later, and that should make the brass run, or the bronze or gunmetal run around this corner a bit with a bit less friction, and you're not going to get a sudden chill there where it runs in, and hopefully we won't get the same tear in this piece. So working on that. There's a set of these for Mark for the steamroller. I've got a set on mine already. These are the drain cock levers. So that's another job that needs doing at some point. Raymond was there when I did it, I think. Were you there when I did that? When I poured that one? I think you were, the first one we poured. Putting a bigger feed on it? Yes, probably a bigger feed. But the biggest problem was this here. So we're going to feed right on the corner here rather than, see, I put a feed down here rather than right out here on the corner. And what you end up there was another chill crack zone here where the brass doesn't flow because it's got to go around a sharp corner up into the top here, and it doesn't like that. So if we dug that a bit deeper into there and even out through the back, I think maybe we wouldn't have had that problem as well. So just things to think about. It was a bit of an interesting thing to mould, to be honest. So that's Tuesday's progress. We're 23 minutes in, and that's covered the weekend completely. What else is happening? Understood, Chirpy. Yep. This doesn't quite. The problem is this hasn't got a unit. It hasn't got a sort of a basic parting line. You would think that the parting, you should be able to set this in here like this, but then you've got this spigot sticking out here. Which isn't particularly easy to fill up. So what I did was, I think the parting line went around here somewhere around the middle and then up over the top. So it was an irregular parting line. And probably, I can't remember whether we cast on a bit of an angle or something. But anyway, got it to fold in. Parting line's sort of like that. See, this is offset here to this is down and this is up. So pouring it this way up gives you the same issues whichever way. Anyway, got it to pour, and pour quite nicely, except that the second one would have been better. There's the parting line that we put on it there. I've marked that on there. So I set it that way up, and I put parting line. Is there one round about? Yeah, there you go. across the back there, and then through the centre of that boss there, and through the centre of the other boss. I think we put this pointing up, I'm not sure, and then put a riser on top. Not really, because if you do that, Adam, you can't lift the top off this, or you can't lift the pattern out of the mould. So it's an interesting thing. Anyway, that's where I put the parting line in it, and that seemed to have worked. But at some point, we'll have another go at it, because Mark still needs one of those. But brass is a challenge anyway, really. Some people are naturally good at it. I'm not, because I don't do enough of it. But brass can be... One thing is when you just read a foundry book and then make the bits and pour the brass in the hole and it'll turn out. Very unlikely, to be honest, from my experience. Very unlikely. Sometimes you get results. I got results on these 3 little castings. If I did them again, I might get better results. Something like casting this in brass, which is actually hollow, that might be more of a challenge. Chirpy, I think you're right. Iron is probably easier to pour. So, just my thoughts with this, you see, is that by the time you make a core for this, which is a fair bit of work, and a core box, and then make a core and make 3 cores before you get one that's really going to hold up and is going to be good and isn't going to wash out or fall out when you put it in, and then make the pattern with the core inside it and gate it and everything so that it actually runs in there and does that, and then pour it. There's a lot of work to do a couple of times before you get it right. So whereas casting it in 3 bits and TIG brazing it together, which I think is the answer, whether I TIG braze it together or whether someone else TIG brazes it together is not a point for this discussion. I'd have to sit down for a long time, for a few months overnight to get proficient at that again. But I know people who are proficient, so if I took it round there, probably for mates rates, they might TIG braze it up for me. Anyway, I've got plenty of filler rod. So that's where we're at with that. This is another interesting piece that's probably got a core in it. See, it's hollow through that way, and then it's got a vent down each side of this, down the sides here, and through the bottom, and then it's got that spool valve there, and I guess a square on the bottom so that you can seat it, and then the lever goes through there to disengage it, and that goes in the bottom there. If you have a look, it's got a slot there that lines up with this slot for the lever, and then there's a screw bolts in the back to stop it turning, and that gives you a limit too so it doesn't drop out, which is kind of nice as well. So that's how that works, to give you some idea of the shape of it. Mark says he can sort of TIG braze it. Righto, I'm impressed. Got a mate here on the Gold in this end of Brisbane who can do it pretty well, I reckon. But we'll see what happens. I've seen some really nice TIG brazing done. Absolutely. And really nice work. I don't think it'd be a problem to do it. I'd like to see Dan TIG braze it, but anyway, not saying he couldn't, but you might need some practice. I know I would. I knew at some stage back in the dim ages, I would have sat down and had a good go at it. But I know at this point in my life, I am probably not the person to do it. I know a guy who basically does that for a living and does a nice job, so if push comes to shove, we can tack it up at Mark's and get him to do it. So we're at. Same with any TIG welding. I haven't done any TIG welding for 10 years, to be honest, or 15 years. Anyway, this is all foundry stuff, and honestly, I'll put this up out of the way. We'll see how that goes, because this here is 6 or 7 kilo in full size in brass. And the other pieces is about 4 kilos. So this whistle's going to weigh about 12, 13 kilo all up. So getting it up on the roof is going to be a fun thing. Just saying. Because it's this height plus the valve. Looking at it, it's about 80, 90 millimetres there. Plus the valve is another 120 or so. Plus the bell, which is about another 300. And it's, what, 165 diameter. So, you burn a lot of zinc holes, Bill. That's exactly right. Bit different to TIG welding, I think. Brazing is just sort of a bit of a thing on its own. Anyway, got a lot of 3D printed parts that sort of may or may not work, and one casting, and about 3 castings that we threw back, and 3 little bits that we could file up and put in the engine the next time pretty soon. So that might happen at some point. Hopkins engine, absolutely no result, no further progress on that. I lost interest. We didn't, but we know when we beat. Take care, Chirp. Some serious strong pipe work. I reckon just a 2-inch pipe should hold it up. Had any problems? We did some maths. Everyone's saying this is a huge big whistle and I don't think we've got enough steam, etc, etc, etc. The maths is that it's got a 2-inch pipe thread on the bottom, right? Which I think it needs for the tone. The I think we just brace it off the roof and put it on that manifold. I don't think it'll move much. But the actual reed area is a bit smaller. So this gap around here is a 1/16 of an inch wide and it's 17 inches long, which works out to 1 1/8 square. Basically, it's 1 1/8 square inches. So 1.8" by 1.8". It's not even, it's just a fraction over inch by inch. Is 1.8 square inches. So let's wait then till we're holding it in our hand and see, or we've got it on the crane or something to see how it looks. So the manifold in it's really not, like the steam release in it's not really huge. It's about the same as the 1.25" pipe. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Oh, it'll drop the boiler pressure. Like, yeah. But I think they tend to run pretty well on low pressure, from what I've seen. So we'll see how that goes. That was it. That's right, if it gets a 30-second blast, it's going to probably be more than enough for everyone in the neighbourhood. Anyway, got some mail too from Joby. I've been wanting this book for 12 or 18 months or something, however long it's been out. Some Joby ephemera. It's not on Amazon. There's a little thank you note. Thank you for your order. I know your internet is full of convenient options and choices, so I'm honoured you chose to shop with our small family business. I think this is pretty well written, actually. Your order plays a small part in our goal of keeping alive the traditional skills of sign writing in our digital age of AI, automation and robots. On the reverse of this card is a print of a well-known sign that's been on display in my workshop for a long time. Hope you like it. I drew the lettering by hand, then painted over in the course of several hours using traditional sign writing techniques. No computers, masking tape or modern shortcuts in my workshop. It's not a perfect print. You can see fingerprints and brushwork in a few places. Yeah, I noticed that line up there is only about as straight as an Emma line, to be honest, when we look at it. But it's nice to remember that. Hey, Randy. Whether you put in a frame or on a fridge, why not take a photo and share it on social media to remind everyone they have a choice when they shop online? Don't forget to tag me if you do at #JobyCarter. With all his socials and stuff. It's a nice card. So that come with it. And there's a nice trifold brochure with all the stuff he does. Wall art and courses and books and all that stuff. And there's another one. It says unusual commissions undertaken. I learned to sign right. 5-day course, all that stuff. I've done one of them years ago. I'd really like to do another one perhaps. But it's a long way away. The universe far away with a lot of money involved. So, some cool things, but I've been wanting this book for 18 months. Tea and Biscuits, g'day. Nice book this. This is Joby's second book. I've got that one already, and I think we've seen it on live stream. But basically it's fairground fonts. Or fairground letters. And examples of some really nice things in this book. Vintage and otherwise. And layout and basics and stuff for all this stuff. So, pretty nice book. Probably won't use a lot of it, but man, that's really nice. And it's Tall Ship's the name of that one. I know why that's called Tall Ship. It's because it's tall, rather than, I guess it's a condensed Gothic really in real terms, but it's tall. And it's based on the ship Matchbox font. So, anyway, don't know if anyone's really interested in that. But this is a really nice book, and I've been sitting down reading it a bit. And really enjoying it. So, got that one. So I've got both of his books now. It's very much a fairy floss and hot dogs and tokens and clowns to shoot at and stuff, sort of a book. Dodgem cars and so forth. But, really nice book. 26 hand-painted alphabets. Pretty nice. And it's been a while coming because it took a bit to save it up. I've already oiled these up and stuff, but I ordered some brushes as well while I was going because I've been looking for a set of these and no one else has them, and he's had them out of stock for a long time. I think these are made by David Jackson, who's the brushman in the UK. Made to order by Job. Joby gets them made to order and he moves them on. This is an English lining brush, which is something Americans probably don't see very often, and something you don't see a lot in Australia. Well, you do see them in Australia. Some idea. Nice, flexible, long line brush. Put perfect line on there, straight as die, without too much trouble. No good for pointy lines or anything, but really nice for straight line. Putting a line like that around or like that around, that's the tool for it. And it's a set of 4 anyway. So I've been looking for them and I'm pretty pleased to have those. Here's Kalinsky. I think it's Sable. I'm going to have to look that up, but I think it's Sable. I think they're Sable. There's a fair bit of length in them. And they come without too much starch or anything in them. They were just bushy. I've given them a good scrub or a good clean up with some dishwashing detergent a couple of times and then oiled them up. So they're pretty much ready to go. But this has got a nice bit of length in it. Pretty nice. Should charge me $100 an hour for a footplate on the roller. That's probably a really good idea. Should totally be done. Then I can afford things like this. Why so long? Because they hold a bit of paint. That's one of the reasons. Long brushes follow better, right? Because you don't get as much error because there's more of the brush in contact with the work. If you drop this down, see, you can run a beautiful straight line along there without too much trouble at all with that brush. See? Whereas, and if you look, there's an oil spot on that book there. If we catch the light there properly, can we? Is that? Probably not. Anyway, there's an oil stripe along there. It's a nice straight line. It's easy as anything. Despite the hand trimmers, yes, probably you've got a bit of that. But these will run a beautiful line. Because they're parallel, you get a line that's the same width as the brush. If you have a look at, actually sideline boxes the wrong way around against the wall, or I get them out. But if you have a look at a sword brush or a pinstriping brush, which is pointy at the end and then like that, it's very dependent on how much of the brush you got on the board to how wide the actual line is. I'm not a big fan of sword brushes. They don't turn corners particularly well. Like that, they just don't turn corners. You'll find that they won't run round in a corner, whereas this, if you've got to put a curved edge, like an edge on something, this is pretty oily, but bit of paint in this instead of a bit of oil. This would have been all stuck up. But you'll find that this will run around there really nicely. So these are pretty nice brush for long lines. For putting long lines on boards quickly and easily, this is the answer. These are amazing. I've got a very similar brush, which is a Mac, which I've used for years. And a Mac's an American brush, but it's a long liner, they call it. Mac long liner, I think. I've got them in a couple of sizes. Sometimes you get a good one and sometimes you don't, because they're not always natural bristle. And they're nowhere near as long as these. And they've usually got a long handle. So, and that'll put reasonable lines on things, but these are amazing. So that was a bit of a purchase that I needed. So done that. And they're all sort of all about ready to go. I'd like to start breaking them in a bit the next few weekends. Have a bit of a go at it. See if I can get something to actually get them to actually work. Probably not cheap. They were cheaper than the. Hang on. Going to shift this A-frame. I've got paint in here everywhere because I'm back at work now. Let's turn this box around the right way around. Put that board out of the way. Flip this down. Pull this out. Let's have a look here. Now these are mixed fighter brushes. A lot of these are watercolour brushes for doing work like that. Oh crap. This is just a lettering brush. It's a short lettering brush, really. It's quite short for doing work like this. If you're doing casual or script, you probably want something with a bit more length in it. This is brand new. These are two of the brushes I bought recently. Is this one here, and this one. I think I showed them last week. This one and this one. They've been oiled up and chiseled out nice and washed up. they're ready to go. See, that's if we're going down in a corner, we start here like this. A bit difficult without any steady, and then come up the corner nice and straight, except we're not. And then back here, and that gives you a finished corner on each top and bottom. And you can do the same across the top. But these could do with another oil up, I think, before I go to bed. But these are nice. These are made by the same guy. This is David Jackson in the UK. These are branded with an Australian brand. There's my mate Jeff Marshall down in Surface. Pair of these, which are fairly big brushes, right? They're Kolinsky Sable blend. I think they've got a bit of something else in them as well, but they're Sable. 135 Australian for the two of them, something like that. These 4 brushes were about £40 or something like that. They're not very big, but yeah, lettering quills are expensive. Solid colour background. That's actually rolled. That one over there in the cowshed silage green. That's actually rolled surface. That's really nice. But 2 or 3 coats and rub back in between. Proper coach paintings, like probably all up about 20 coats of decent paint on it. But that'll do that. But that one there is that's rolled and brushed and so forth, and that's ready to lay out with the next level. But we've got to wait and arrive a nice day to do that, and it hasn't happened because I've always had something else to do on nice days. So it's kicking around here waiting to get that job done. I've got cheaper fountain pens than that too, be that, but anyway, these are a bit nice. So they're cheap brushes for watercolour because they're kind of bendable. This is a really useful brush. It's an interior decorating brush. This is a Monarch ball bristle, inch 30mm brush. Very ordinary thing, really, to be honest. Not a big fan. So we've got some lettering quills. A lot of these. This is a blending brush. It's a short, flat brush. It's used for doing work like this here with the blends. This is a MAC brush that's artificial, like it's not natural bristle. These have had a hard life and some of them are 20 years old. But that's how long I've been messing around with these. And there's probably a set of those. I don't know if any of them are much good. It's another nice lettering quill. A much smaller one there. And a smaller one again. These are sort of my go-to stuff. There's another one of them, which probably I never use. There's a MAC Longliner, which is a pretty good brush. It's not a bad brush at all, but the difference in the length of the hair, mate, that's probably at least an inch longer. So it's really nice. This is a sword striper. It's an American thing. It's a pinstripe brush. Bit of a cow of a thing because they don't really stripe around corners particularly well. And you've got to have one finger down on the work to keep them a constant height. It's important. Not really in love with them, to be honest, and they tend to shed hair and all that sort of stuff. This is basically another version of these. I can't catch it over the TV from my phone. Honestly, got no idea. It's probably because I'm vertical. I'm struggling with this a bit. We thought we had it fixed, but I don't, and I apologise for that. Don't know. There's another new one of those Mac longliners, which has never been much good. I've never managed to break that in and get it working properly. It tends to not be very flexible. I don't know why. That's actually a Kafka. That's why. It's not a Mac at all. That's a Kafka. That's not a real good brush, I don't think. Not a fan. These are Kafkas too. Steve Kafka's a big pinstriper. I don't think I've actually purposely there's a Mac. Purposely set it that way, put it that way. If it is set like that, it's not deliberate. So there's another one of them. Anyway, paintbrushes. 101. They're all pretty nice. But when I think about it, there's probably $500 worth of brushes sitting there. Try not to think about that. Probably more. Put this up here so that we're not even anywhere near the bottom of the tray yet. So that's something that fascinates me, and I like brushes. I like doing that sort of work. But it's nice to have new toys, I guess. And it's nice to have tools that get the job done properly rather than messing around with other brushes. Often you do a job and you pick up the wrong brush and you end up with ordinary results. It's a bit of a difficult one to take, but anyway. Apart from that, James asked a question. That's the next thing. James asked a question about Matty. Does anyone know what's happened to Matty? Has anyone heard from him? Is he okay? Matty's workshop. Does anyone know? If anyone's got any feedback on that, let us know. Oh gosh, I forgot. This box has got to go with me this weekend anyway. Not heard from him either. Now, what's happening this next weekend? I just killed half hour talking about paintbrushes. I'm sorry about that, guys. You're not here for the fun. You're here for the education. Apologies. This weekend is Dan's birthday drinks. I think it's going to be a quiet one because Dan himself has got several broken bones and a punctured lung and 3 bruised kidneys and a liver that's not functioning as normally as other people's. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that. Anyway, Dan's probably, he says, not drinking as much as he could be, and certainly not doing any heavy labour. And not doing anything that might remotely be constituted as a breach of peace, because it would take very little to stop him. So Dan's having a quiet sort of a week. But if the rain holds, I don't know what the weather situation is like down there, but if the rain holds, we're going to be moving the roller under cover this weekend, and we're going to have some drinks for Dan's birthday and whatever else happens, and some other jobs. Anyway, if anyone's close by, and I said this before, and I know where one is, but if you're close by at Grafton on the weekend and you're watching this channel, hit us up and we'll let you know where to come and say hello. And bring beer. That's where we're at. So you probably get put to work, but really appreciate anyone who does want to turn up. You're more than welcome. So that's an open invitation from me and from Dan. Especially if you're interested in steam engines. Turn up. You'll probably end up cutting firewood all weekend. I'm just saying. Dan's probably fallen asleep. Yeah, he's had a big week. All right, so that's happening. Love to pick you up on the way, Bill. It's a bit out of my way, but we'll see how we go. Excuse me. Gosh, that's probably about it. I don't know if there's much else that we need to cover. That's what's been happening. I still got to clean all this stuff off the bench. It was sort of getting to the point that it was clear, but we loaded it back up again, which hasn't done us any favours. That's where we are with that. But at some point, maybe on Tuesday, I'll have another go at these. What I'm going to do is go up on a few Tuesdays and just concentrate on one casting at a time and get some results on it. And then machine them as we go and make them fit and work out one at a time and tack them together or whatever and machine them as we go. That's the answer. Yeah, about time they invented a teleport. That'd be nice. Anyway, that's me. I think I'm probably nearly out of here. Appreciate you all tuning in. I know it's extra late for some of you, so we won't keep you too long. But I'm sort of starting to get a bit sleepy. Sorry, guys. I apologise for the vertical too. It's a real pain in the backside, and I'm not sure why it does it, but I thought I had it fixed and now I haven't. So I don't understand that. Anyway, be kind to each other and keep out of trouble. And more soon, guys. I'm going to go. Appreciate you all tuning in. Really do.